Hello, nice to meet you all. Thanks for coming along to see these photographs. Obviously all the other speakers are important as well, but as a photographer, being able to photograph something that is front and center of effective communication. Can I draw your attention please to the exhibition which is over there? It's a participatory photographic piece of work, which means that all of the work that you're looking at has been made by the people in the images. Okay, there's no outsider photographer coming in to photograph the story. I was very insistent that that was not going to happen. Thank you to the roaming camera for taking the online audience over there. Can I have a quick show of hands? Who's had a chance to look at this work over lunch? Okay, that is about, with my rubbish maths, let's go with 10%. Excellent. It's really important that you all get a chance to engage with this. I'm not going to force you all to walk over there now to have a look at this, but maybe towards the end of the day, at the end, this work's going to stay here. I don't really want to talk about the details of this work. It's in their own words. It's in the participants' own words. It's in the captions. There's a few introductory texts which are in large, and beside Claire on the right-hand side, there's an introduction, 3 paragraphs. There's a huge piece there by Neil, which are really important. Now, this is participatory work, and I'm now going to ask for some audience participation, which is everyone's favorite thing, I know. And if maybe a few people who are sitting closest to the work, if you don't mind getting up and just rotating these boards to the other side, because there's other work which is on there. Please be careful of the chandeliers. I've almost broken that one twice this morning. That's it, moving very slowly, thank you. Just a quick 180. Don't worry about curating it particularly, it's all good. Just so they get to see that it's incredibly diverse work. Excuse me. So, I don't really want to talk about this work in too much detail, like I've said. This is up to you guys to engage with this. What I do want to talk about are the people that are not in this exhibition. They are equally as important. I started off with 10 participants, and only 5 could complete. This was a 2-year project, and it is not through want of trying either on my behalf or on theirs. There just wasn't the time. And that is hugely significant for many of the conversations that we've been having today. These 5 participants, I've seen some of the work. They have completed photo essays that in the end, they did not feel comfortable sharing. They felt that maybe that would be personally or professionally damaging. They didn't have the confidence to share this. They had grown-up children who still needed their support. They had very elderly parents who also needed support, and obviously they had their own disabilities or chronic conditions that they were also managing whilst running their own companies or being self-employed. It will be no surprise that these people were all women, and they were between 55 and 75 years old. And they are absent from that exhibition. And so I think the next piece of work needs to be focusing on that demographic. That work over there is hugely potent. I don't need to oversell it, it does it itself. Once you start engaging with the captions, you'll understand. But that next piece of work does need to be in this missing demographic. So that's all that I have wanted to say really about this. For the online audience, we have a show reel of the images from the work, and you can go to the Inclusivity Project website to get the full caption information. For those of you who have seen the work, are there any questions? Or maybe there's other sort of experiences that you may have, maybe even from that missing demographic that are not up there. No? In that case, I'm more than happy to sit back at my table and listen to other people talking. But finally, I'd like a round of applause for the participants who are on the wall. Unfortunately, I couldn't. Oh, is there a question?
Sorry, we do have one question.
Brilliant, go for it.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, Laura.
Tom and I were set up this photo project together, and Tom, I just wondered, would you just explain to the room for a moment what the need was for photographs of disabled people and older people in the workplace that were real, and why we did that?
Well, it's quite straightforward, really, because as soon as you go online, go to a stock library to go and illustrate your nice pamphlet or your website about what you do, you get this amazingly rose-tinted view of the world. Everyone's smiling and happy, and the sun is always shining. So we needed to re-visualize what disability looks like in the workplace, and that's why we went to people to tell their own stories, to help that re-visualization. Now, part of the process of participatory practice is to constantly reflect, and part of the work was for me to have regular meetings with the participants so they could reflect on their own work experience and what was important to them and how to photograph that. And that was how I was gathering the images to help tell these stories. But as a kind of byproduct of that reflective process for me, it actually supported them in making some significant decisions, either in their personal lives, their work-life balance, or in their professional life. A bit like the previous speaker talking about how the gathering of the SMEs together actually became a very potent part of the project. And so this ongoing reflective process, not like I was saying, it brings out a different way to visualize disability in the workplace, but it actually helps people within these situations make some really significant decisions. And I think some of the kind of key outcomes of this was, you know, we're all aware of formal, reasonable adjustments and what we understand by that. It was all the informal adjustments that people were making, and the need for flexibility, and you know, flexible working practices, and employees applying for flexible working. It was more about flexible thinking and getting people to kind of reimagine what work was being asked, and kind of asking questions along the lines of, well, what can people do and when can they do it, rather than trying to sort of fit to specific fixed ideas of the workplace. And once that had been reframed, then all of a sudden people were able to contribute much more to the workplace, and there's a sort of much greater balance. I suppose the final sort of key theme about this work is that what the participants were finding is that their personal coping mechanisms for either through their personal life or in the workplace, actually those coping mechanisms almost become like a superpower for that business. An obvious example, which is on the wall over on the right, is somebody who has ADHD, and the need of organisation, the level of organisation required for personal life obviously moved into the workplace, and that helps to support the work environment. But there's many other examples over there. Okay. Thank you.